Hey, I'm so glad you've joined us. My name's Daniel. I'm the senior pastor here at Trietsch, and we're excited to help teach you a little bit more about different forms of prayer. And every time we pray, we want to try to do a few things that kind of set us at ease. One is, of course, find a comfortable place. The other is to be a little bit aware of your breathing. Depending on the prayer, you might want to breathe in and breathe out deeply just as you make preparations. And then, of course, to set aside any distractions like phones or tablets or monitors of any kind, just so that you can focus on the prayer. Today I want to teach you a little bit about the Examen prayer. Examen comes from the Latin, and it simply means an examination. Ignatius of Loyola taught us this prayer, and it's a simple format that helps guide us through a way of encountering a conversation with God. Typically, the Examen prayer was to be done at the end of the day as a reflection of all that has happened and to prepare you for the next day. But sometimes people do it in the morning in preparation for the upcoming day. But there are four basic components to the Examen prayer. The first component is to simply give thanks to God, to examine all that you've experienced for the day, to reflect on all of your experiences, all the things that you've encountered, all that you believe God has done for and with you, and simply give thanks to God. And that can be for a number of things. Some people do that reflecting on each hour of the day and giving thanks to God for that. The second component of the Examen prayer is to review the day. Think back on things that happened, acknowledge what's gone through, and realize that God was present in all of those. And as you pray, you simply acknowledge the goodness of God and the way God has interfaced with you throughout the day. The third component of the Examen prayer is called face shortcomings. Really, this is simply a long way to talk about confession. That is to say, to confess where I fell short, right? To confess where I have not hit the mark that we know God is calling us to. So when we face shortcomings, it can be uncomfortable, but it's also a way to acknowledge our need for God and our reliance upon God. And it's important for us to acknowledge that, all the ways that we've fallen short for the day. And then finally, the fourth component of the Examen prayer, we simply say, look for help. And all this means is, after we've reflected on what's happened the previous day or this day, we look for help, God's guidance, God's assurance, God's presence for the future day. A way to acknowledge that there's still hope, that there's still a future, and that God is still with us and for us. I want to invite you to try the Examen prayer someday. Take about 10 to maybe 15 minutes and examine the four components of giving thanks, reviewing the day, face your shortcomings, and look for help. I'm excited for you as you try this form of prayer.